Hey there, future aviators! Welcome to my YouTube channel Fly with Dimitri. I am a certificated flight instructor, and today I will answer one of the most popular questions that I get: how to make my flight training cheaper. Whether you are looking to get a private pilot certificate or an instrument rating, this flight simulator is a huge, great, awesome tool to have at home for nearly free. I have a Logitech yoke with the throttle quadrant. They come as one piece. This is the basic, pretty basic, no force feedback, but maybe you don't need that for now. And on eBay, you can pick that up for around 100 bucks. What's important is you have the throttle, flaps, mixture. You have extra buttons that can be either trim or other features. On the yoke, on the left side, I have electrical trim. That more closely imitates the electrical trim that's present on the newer Cessnas. And then even another fancy feature, look at the screen. With a one push of a finger, you can look out your right window and left window. There's a nice switch, toggle switch. So center view and then left window view. And on top of that, with your left hand, which you'll have to fly with mostly, you can pan around the interior and you can see the controls. So for example, look at the trim. When I unpause the game and I move the buttons, then the screen shows how the wheel moves for the trim. Same for the flaps. Moving the flaps, you have even the sound like in a real airplane. Moving the mixture, and the engine almost died on me. Mixture back, flaps up. So all of this is $100 on eBay, plus extra if you get rudder pedals that will give you some additional practice. So let's look, well, first of all, let's talk what we'll be doing here. A lot of people get Flight Simulator and they just start flying around doing loopy loops, and that is really not helping. What you need to do is the 4 basic flight maneuvers. You need a constant speed climb, you need ability to level off and fly straight and level. You need to master level turns, it's steep turns preferably, and you need to be able to establish descent. Those 4 maneuvers build up the foundation of most of the flying that you will do. Now on top of that, as we take this airplane off the ground, let's practice the takeoff. So as in a normal airplane, your feet on the rudder, your right hand on the throttle, check the mixture up, flaps up, and full throttle. Release the brakes, and let's go. A little tap dance on the rudder. Those left turning tendencies are making it hard, and that's another good practice. Airspeed is alive. 40. More rudder. And 50, and every time I take my eyes off the center line, of course, I lose it. And now let's climb. Let's make it climb at 80. You notice that I'm using the pitch with my left hand, pitching down to increase airspeed, and at the same time I'm starting to trim with my left finger while my hand should be on the throttle. I'm trimming up slightly to trim for 80, and look at the airspeed. Airspeed is 80. So this is the first exercise. I was able to take off and established a constant airspeed climb at 80. Airspeed is reducing a little bit. I need to trim it and hold the wings level. This is building block number 1. Now next, maybe a little too loud. Next we have to level off. Altitude is climbing. We're coming on to 1,000 feet. You can see here, there is a way to zoom like this maybe, so we can see it better. There you go. Back to level flight, and let's fly east. If you lower the nose, we should see Mount Hood there. We're flying out of Hillsboro, and by now we'll be passing somewhere over the Twin Oaks. So as I'm nearing my altitude, pitch, power, trim, lower the nose with my left hand. My left hand right now is responsible for altitude. As I'm done keeping altitude, the airspeed increases and I lower the throttle, and now I'm using the trim. See, I'm constantly pushing on the yoke. Oh, there's Mount Hood, look at that. I'm pushing on the yoke. I need to get rid of that pressure. Just like in a real airplane, this constant push is going to fight you, and it will win. So I'm starting to trim, and I'm looking at the airplane nose, letting go of the yoke. There's a little bit of the spring feedback that we have in this basic setup, and maybe a little too much. And there we go. We're still flying east. Altitude is pretty stable, and we are flying straight and level. Next, we have to master the steep turns. As we enter the steep turns, coordinated rudder and aileron inputs are required. If you don't have the rudder, that's okay, because what's important is you practice that the drill of adding a little power, pitching a little bit up, and maintaining the altitude. Right now the altitude is 1,000 feet, and by the way, do not do steep turns at 1,000 feet. But just for this sake of this exercise, back at 1,000 feet and east. Let me roll into the right turn at 45-degree bank angle, rolling in with some rudder input. There's 30 and 45, giving a slight pitch up and adding about 200 RPM of power. Altitude is dropping, so I have to pitch up, unbank, and pitch up. There, I'm back at my target angle, and I'm doing this constant little dance with my bank and my pitch. Now, of course, this is a little difficult, maybe more difficult than in a real airplane, but this is a good practice. And then I have to roll out back on the east heading, I have to remove the power, lower that nose, and here we are at 1,000 feet altitude on the east heading, looking towards Mount Hood. One of the other options could be you use trim instead of holding the pitch, and those are a couple different ways that you can practice this. Now, if I want to establish descent, I remove the power first. I hold altitude by keeping the nose up. Wait until my speed is in a wide arc. Flaps 10. Flaps 20. Airspeed is dropping, so I have to lower the nose and pitch for 60. Flaps full. And there I am flying with flaps full. The purpose of this exercise is establish a level flight with full flaps at 60. I'm constantly working with my left hand to keep it at 60. And next, if I want to, I can trim the airplane with nose down to remove that extra pressure and establish a level flight at 60 degrees. We're going towards Portland here. There you go, a little more trim. And here we are flying at 60, losing a little bit of altitude, so we have to add more power. Now we're working left hand pitch for airspeed, right hand power for altitude. Well, that's it. So those were the basic 4 maneuvers. Is this super exciting with you piloting F-16 and shooting enemies? Not really. That's not what the flight simulator is for at home. It is here to train those 4 fundamentals of flight. Plus, if you have the rudder, you can practice the takeoff, fight the left turning tendencies, or how they're mostly referred now is simply turning tendencies, and apply all that ground knowledge, all those books that you read to the practice. Speaking of the books, if I haven't mentioned already, the Airplane Flying Handbook, I'll put the picture here on the left, and the Pilot Handbook of Aeronautical Knowledge. Those are the 2 must-read books. Think of them as a manual for a board game, an extremely complex board game with little pieces and puzzles and figures. You can't make sense of that board game until you read the manual, and airplanes are just like that. Now you can either read that book and ask questions and I will help you, or sometimes students come and pay $60 an hour to get taught the content of that book, which is definitely easier, but a little more expensive way to get your private pilot certificate. Whatever works for you, I am here to help. I'll be happy to help, and highly recommend to spend $100 on a basic used set. This Logitech proven to be a nice setup. So every Every feature that you need is here, even more. Can you use a different setup? Yes, this is just the one that somebody had on Craigslist for sale. So, to sum this up, you have to read the books, you have to practice at home, and then you will spend less on your flying lesson. Your private pilot certificate, as of today's prices in 2025, can cost you as little as $10,000. If you're really persuasive, 8 plus checkride fees. But only if you are putting in your effort and all your attention into your self-preparation before you get into the airplane. Thanks for watching till the end. Good luck flying. Good luck flying at home and in the real airplane. I'll see you in the skies.